All right, so everybody that's here, thanks for stopping by. We're gonna get started now. So pretty much what we're gonna be going over. By the way, before I start, can you guys hear me? Can you just like let me know in the chat if you can hear me clearly?
Yeah,
All right, cool.
I hear you.
All right, so pretty much what we're gonna be going over on is game plan with your characters. I'm gonna be using Harangue as an example, but you can apply these tactics to everybody's to all your characters. There's gonna be three main parts that we're gonna be going over here, or three options that you're gonna want to do in your neutral. So we're gonna just go through each one, and then at the end, if you guys have any questions, just ask the questions. But we'll start with the game plan. The game plan is kind of like the overarching thing. Most people go into matches and they don't really have a game plan. They just kind of go in and they do stuff. But you want to have a game plan. The game plan wants to be based off of counterplay. So what counterplay is I'll give you an example. If I kept running in and doing this, and I was staying at this range, I'd run in and I'd do this. And I just keep doing this over and over. Some harangues do that, and they do that just because it's just something that they want to do because they just want to get pressure started. But there's a reason that you want to do this, which is to condition them to duck. You want them to duck because as soon as they duck, then you get launchers. So that's kind of like the basis of it. You want to condition your opponent. So let's just simplify it. I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible. The first thing is your range. Where do you stay at with your character? So with Harangue, we're going to use him as an example. You guys should all know your mains. So you should all know your best with Punisher. If you don't know your best with Punisher, you should write that down. A whiff Punisher is a far-reaching move that can whip somebody if they do something. So I'll show you what I mean here. So let's just set him to. I should just probably put him on record. Yeah, let's do that. So let me show you guys here. So I'm just gonna have him move around a little bit. There. So if a person's playing neutral, right, and you're just looking at them, and they throw in a button out, you want to be able to punish that button. So you want to stay at a certain range that's just outside your actual your max range. So the first lesson here is stay at the range that your whiff punish will reach at max. So with Harangue, his back three is his whiff punisher, and it hits all the way like damn near right around 2.5, 2.6. So it doesn't look like it'd reach from here, but this range right here is the range where his whiff punisher would reach 2.5. You can see it at the bottom. So for your character, you need to know what range your best reaching whiff punisher will reach. If it's right here, then it's right here. If it's a little bit further back, then whatever your character has, you stay at that range. There's two benefits to this. One, you can feint like you're going to go in, and if they press a button, then you whiff punish. But also, the same range that you're at is the same range where you can come in for pressure. So you always want to be at a range where you can dash in and do pressure. So this creates like a weird little mind game. This is where I was talking about game plan. So if you have an aggressive character, your game plan should be, I want to start pressure. Every character is different. So some characters have really good lows. Like somebody can come in and hit you with this, and I'm +3. I can go into stance, and I can do a bunch of things out of this. If I think they're going to mash, I can go into flappy kicks. If I think they're going to duck, I can go into a mid. So every character has their thing. So you want to be at a range where you can come in with a mid, or you can come in with a low. No highs here. No highs from this distance. If you want to do a high, you can come in with a running attack if you have a high running attack, but you got to kind of set that up. But when you first start the game off, your plan should be looking at the situation. So option one, you stay at your range and you wait to see if they're going to mash the button. If they're a patient player, they'll just chill out there. And if you've been doing this, if you condition them, because every time you run in, you hit them low, or you run in, you hit them mid, then when you start not doing anything, they'll press a button, you whiff punish. So once again, option one, stay at the range where your whiff punish will reach, at the farthest range. Option number two is you want to go in and dash in and do pressure. So whether it's a low or whether it's a mid, no highs here. You can come in with anything you want as long as it's a mid or a low. And then based on your character, you set up, your follow-up. So for example, if I'm using Harangue, if I come in with this low, then I have options here. If I come in with this mid, then it's +6 if it hits. And +6 always frame traps into a 15 frame launcher. I don't know if you guys know that, but let me just show you what I mean. So let's just say they mash. So this hits and they mash immediately. You see that? Now, if I do a 15 frame move, it counter hits. So now I know this is just one very basic, simple. Hey, son, sit down, be quiet. This is a very simple way of doing it. But if this mid hits, then I'm like, oh, well, let me just check. And if that hits, then I get mad damage. So you need to know the follow-ups for your move. If they do hit, what's your reward? I get +6 here, so I can go for an uppercut. Now here's the crazy thing about this uppercut in particular. It's safe. So if you notice, I think it's -7. You see that? So I can't be punished for that. This is also my keep out move. But so essentially, if I come in and I land a mid, then I'm gonna go for a launcher just to see what happens. If they block it, you also need to have options. Your down forward 1 or whatever your mid should be should allow you to be -3 to 0, somewhere in between there. Anything between that range, you can sidestep and still launch. So remember, you're playing keep out, they don't do shit, you come in. When you come in, you hit them with a mid, and you can sidestep and launch them if they retaliate instantly. That's a punish. You see that? So even if they block, if they take action, you can still get reward off that, even though it's a little difficult to do, but that's a punish. So whether I hit or whether I don't hit, I have follow-ups of what I want to do. Typically, if you guys ever play me, you'll notice that sometimes I'll feint and then I'll come in like this. The reason I come with this move is it's a mid, it's pretty quick, and people always want to press after it because it looks like a launcher. But just like I was telling you, that's -3. That gives me an opportunity to sidestep and punish. So all of these things are pretty important in your game plan. So to reiterate for the people that just came in, you want to stay at a range that your farthest reaching with Punisher will reach. And the reason you stay at this range is when they're tired of having you dash in and get offense, and you fake a dash in, right? You just dash up and stop, and they press a button, free damage. So now we're going to talk about the third part to this game plan, so to speak, is the keep out aspect. Every character has moves that'll keep somebody out if they run in. So for Harang, it's this down forward 2. Not this move, because this is punishable, it's like -19. But this move is my keep out move, because it's safe, and if they run in, bam, I can just pop them with this. So you need to know your keep out move. So if they start pressuring you and they're being overly aggressive, you can just launch them. They come in, block. They come in, you sidestep, block. But you need to have your keep out move. Once a person gets hit enough times coming in, you know what they're going to do? They're going to come in and they're going to stop. And when they come in and stop, that's when you go in and start your pressure again. So that's the basis of it. So I'm going to try to simplify all that for you. It all goes back down to the game plan. The game plan is what's your character's strengths, what buttons do they have, and what buttons you want to use when you're a neutral. Right? So the counterplay is the key of this whole lesson. You should be looking for counterplay. What I mean by that is, what are the counters to the things that you're doing? So if you know you come in and go for lows all day, then obviously when you come in and they duck, then you can get a launcher, or in Harang's case, he gets a skyrocket. So let me just kind of show you. So let's just say I'm playing around here, and then when I finally come in, they're expecting a low so much that they're just sitting there crouched. You just come in, and then you can fucking hit them with a mid, or you can hit them with whatever you have. For Harang, it's supposed to be that. That's his mix. He comes in, fakes this low, or comes in like he's gonna do that low, and then he just goes for that tracking mid, or the skyrocket. So same thing with your characters. When whatever that mid is that you're threatening, when you know they're gonna duck, start going for that mid option when you think they're gonna duck. That's the counterplay. The counterplay to you running in and doing lows is ducking. The counterplay to you running in and doing mids could be potentially them sidestepping, where you would run in and do a tracking move. So you're looking for the counters to whatever it is that you're doing to initiate your offense. When you run in, remember, one part of this 3-part is going in and creating pressure from dashing distance. So the same distance that your whip punisher would hit should be the same distance that your dashing should be able to have some effect. So that's one thing, right? The other thing is the keep out. When they come in, make sure you have your keep out moves. And when they come in to pressure you, which a lot of this happens at lower ranks, a lot of people will come in to pressure you. When they come in to pressure you, and you launch them a few times from just doing dumb shit, then at that point, when they run in and stop, and you guys will notice this a lot, people will run in and do nothing. When they run in and do nothing, they're running in and doing, hey son, be quiet. They're running in and doing nothing because they think that they're going to do something like to keep them out. But in reality, when they run in and do nothing, you peep that, you notice they're doing that. Hey son, when they run in and do nothing, then you notice that, then you run in and start your offense again. So on their end, it looks like, damn, no matter what I do, I'm getting screwed. And you want to get your damage off of good counterplay reads. So if you can condition somebody to want to duck every single time you go in, then when they start ducking, you just come in and you start hitting them with mids. And if they, you coming in, you hitting them with like these mid checks over and over again, and they're like, oh, what the fuck, and they want to start mashing or sidestepping, hit them with a tracking move, or run in and start grabbing. Use your grab game. Every character has grabs they can use. So that's the simplistic way of looking at this. I mean, this is like the very very basic version of it because this goes way deeper at a higher level. There's things like delayed timing. There's all kinds of shit. There's like all kinds of stuff. Well, we don't even need to get into that. It's overcomplicated. But you just want to keep it simple. You need to have a game plan. What's your game plan? You figure that out when you're in your neutral. Stay at a range where you don't have to worry about it. Now, if they start backing up, this is something I wanted to show you guys. Let's just say for whatever reason, you're doing that and they start backing up for whatever reason, right? You save that. You stay with them, but you stay at your range. You don't close that distance any further. So when they back up, you still keep it at the same range. You still keep it at that whiff punish range. So that way, no matter what, you're still, if they throw that button out thinking you're going to come in, free launch. Hey, calm down. You better calm down. So that's another thing. Stay within that range. And then you got to choose what you want to do and why. So if you want to go in, then you go in with your safe stuff. Like, lows really are safe, but you go in with your small stuff. Don't come in here doing hell sweeps. Don't come in here doing crazy ass moves that are like 20 frames startup. You want to keep it small. You want to keep the mids really small. You don't want to come in with gigantic 20 frame mids like that because you'll just get knocked out of it. Good players will punish you for that. You want to come in and do small things. And once you get a read and you have a conditioning, and let's just say it's the second or third round and you notice, oh, every time I come in, they sidestep. Well, now you know what to do. Every time I come in, they duck. Now you know what to do. What if you don't get a chance to come in because they're just hyper aggressive? That's when you got to work on your defense. You got to time your, you got to back up, you got to sidestep, you got to time your keep out moves, keep them safe. Sometimes a good keep out move is just to jab. If people are up close and they want to do all these giant heavy ass moves that take forever to come out, jabs beat that. Down forward ones typically beat that. You could just control somebody just by doing shit like this. It may seem simple, but you'd be surprised how effective these little tiny little pokes can stop somebody's rhythm. And once you hit people with enough of these, then you'll start noticing, oh, they're not moving. Now you can go in and do some of your offense. So that's the pretty much the base of the lesson. I'm going to kind of show you a replay real quick of me fighting death last night when I was using a lot of these concepts. And then that'll be pretty much the end of the lesson. And if you guys have any questions, just let me know. But just remember, just one more time to simplify. You have three options in your neutral. You wait for a whiff. The whiff will come because you condition them or they're scared of you running in. Can they stop you from coming in? That's the question. If they can't stop you from coming in and you're just getting free pressure every time you come in, they're going to have to do something about that. Once you condition them enough, even if you take some damage, it's fine. If you take damage, it's cool. You're getting information. After a while, they're not going to want to let you come right in. That's when you start faking it, they whiff, and you start getting free damage. Because now they got to stop you from coming in because they don't want to deal with that pressure. And then you're just getting whiff punishes for free all day. Then there's the third option. They are rushing you down. They're the ones coming in. They keep coming in. They come in really fast. Use your keep out moves. Use your moves that are going to keep them out. If they come in and they think they got to read, like, oh, I'm going to come in and just stop. If they do that, then what you do is you start your offense. As soon as you notice they ran in and stopped now, you dash in and you go for your mix. And it's confusing because to them, they're like, all right, I went in and I thought he was going to hit me, but he didn't, and now I'm getting hit again. Those are the three things you want to mix around. And the whole concept between those three things works off counterplay. How are they going to stop you from doing what you're doing? If you get a good read on how they're going to stop you, then you can deal with that. If they duck, launch them. If they sidestep, track them. If they do nothing, keep pressuring them. If they come and try to be aggressive to you, then you launch them. That's the mind game. You want to make sure you know your character's moves, know your character's ranges, know your follow-ups. This is important. Know your follow-ups when you come in. So if you come in and you do land something, what's your mix? So I'll give you an example, just to kind of show you guys with Harangue, for example, right? So let's just let's put punish on, and this is what normally happens in a Harangue match. Someone will, let's just record it so I can show you guys what they do. They'll get hit, and they're dick jabbing. So you got to have these. You have to go in training mode and have these things thought out. Like, all right, if I come in with down, when I come with this, I can usually hit them with that. If they mash, or I can hit them with this. Like I have a couple options if they want to mash, but I come in with different things. So if I come in like this, I need them to block first. If I come in with a mid, and they mash back, then I usually have stuff for that too. So if I know they like the dick jab and I come in, then I can usually just sidestep and do something, or I'll do this. That's typically what I'll do, or I'll back up and then whiff punish. So you got to have these ideas like, oh, do they step? I'll show you that one last one. So let's see. Let's go to set it to homing move. So put somebody in plus frames with something and they do a homing move. You got to know about that. So with Harangue, he has a safe homing move. Alyssa and characters that have really good ones, they're typically highs. If you're coming in, you're doing pressure, and you stop and you notice they're doing homing moves because they're tired of you sidestepping them, then you need to know what kind of homing move you're dealing with. If the homing move is like -8 or 9, that means that you get to a free mix essentially. So if you block any move that's -8, -9, -10, -10 is obviously punish, but if it's just under punish, you get a free mix. So you go for a power mid or you go for a power low. That's as simple as that gets. Anytime someone does a move that's safe, it may be safe, but it's dangerous because now they have to take some kind of mix for doing that.